Test, test. Cincinnati Volleyball is back for the 2025 season. Tonight they host Wake Forest in the home opener, first match of the year for both of these squads in an electric game. The tribute to number 10, Cincinnati's annual home opener, tributed to that number, former player. Big occasion for the volleyball team and a big occasion for both these teams. They both have new head coach. Wake Forest bringing a new head coach as well. Jeff Holzmeyer, first-time head coach as volleyball program, came over from an assistant coaching role in Florida State. Now looks to lead Wake Forest to a hopefully good season, as well as Tomic leading the Bearcats hopefully to the NCAA tournament, as she has led her former teams to multiple tournament appearances. The Bearcats have high hopes for Coach Tomic. Fifth Third Arena looking nice as always. Wake Forest with a solid crowd today. The Bearcats with a good student section. My name is Justin Dedrick, and I'll be bringing you along solo tonight on Bearcats Media. No partner, just me. Should be a fun time, though, as we have two solid squads. Let's talk about the Bearcats real quick. Starting lineups have been announced. Cincinnati is having two teams into the city this weekend, Michigan and Wake Forest. They will play Michigan tomorrow. Michigan on Sunday at 1 p.m. Little three-team tournament. Cincinnati's returning 10 players, 8 newcomers coming in, 5 freshmen, 3 transfers. So some returning talent, some new blood here into the program as well. Of course, Coach Tomic, the 13th program head coach, formerly at Bowling Green, 13 years up in northwestern Ohio. 7 seasons as a head coach of FIU as well. All-time record is 394 and 222. Pretty solid record for Coach Tomic. The athletic department was very, very excited at bringing her to Clifton. They're also very excited to keep some of their top talent from last season. Of course, Abby Walker is gone now, playing pro volleyball for the Columbus Fury. However, they do return Sydney Nolan and Carly Glendening, 2 breakout stars for them last season. 2 of their leading point scorers, of course, behind Walker, who's now a professional. A lot of top transfers coming in for them as well. A couple top freshmen. They're very excited about the youth in this program, the returning stars, the returning talent, and veterans hopefully bring some leadership for this team as well. They're looking to definitely improve upon last season, where it got a little bit rough in conference play. They were only 5-13 in the Big 12 Conference. Not exactly the numbers you want to see for a team with hope. Hopefully, Coach Tomic has a way to remedy that in her first season as the Bearcats coach. Looking at Wake Forest a little bit, Wake Forest returns some really good talent. 4 four-year members are coming back this year for their core. Their libero, Emma Farrell, team leader in digs for 3 straight seasons. And they're one of their outside hitters, Paige Crawford, 335 kills last fall. Going to be a tough player for the Bearcats to stop. We'll see how their defense fares. Of course, their star freshman libero from last year, Faith Frame, now at Arizona State. So we'll see how their defense can cope with that loss of a star. Out there on the court for the Bearcats, we're going to have Andy Spees, Ava Liederberg, Sydney Nolan, Carly Glendening, Lily Gillespie, Mackenzie Johnson, Tatiana Simonovic, and Brooke Crummel. A lot of young talent out there. Of course, Glendening, Gillespie, and Sydney Nolan, those are your returning talents. Andy Spees, a sophomore coming in from Middle Tennessee State transfer. Ava Liederberg coming in, is a true freshman from Naperville, Illinois. Glendening, of course, returning star. Lily Gillespie, sophomore from Cincinnati, local, hometown. Brooke Crummel transferring in, redshirt freshman from Liberty. Mackenzie Johnson out there as well, graduate transfer from Louisiana Tech. A lot of experience brought from her. And rounding that out was Tatiana Simonovic, coming over from Serbia, a place where Coach Tomic likes to recruit. First serve is up, knocked up by Glendening, set to Nolan. Too far, out of bounds for the first time. Nolan's just got to get that down. Little first game jitters. She'll have that figured out. Serving for Wake Forest is Drew LaJula. LaJula, sophomore from Georgia. Serve is too far out of bounds. Thought that might hit the back line, but just a little bit too strong for LaJula. Cincinnati is going to get their first serves of the season. It's going to be Lily Gillespie, who is your primary starting libero for this season, replacing Faith Frame. Gillespie's serve is over. Wake Forest to return, blocked at the net and out of bounds off the hands of Nolan and Simonovic. Tatiana Simonovic, 6'3". Blocking in the middle, gonna be a tough force. Got her hands on it that time, again, just out of bounds. Wake Forest up 2-1. Nolan with a great set, hits it down off the hands of number 14, Kellis Hawkins. And on the ground on the Wake Forest side, the Bearcats get the point in the serve, tied up at 2-2. Andy Spees, Middle Tennessee State transfer, serving now. Over cleanly, popped up, opportunity, and a great redirection kill by Hawkins. Faked like she was gonna go towards the middle, went right down towards the outside and got it down. Faked out Spees a little bit. Wake Forest subs in Becca Bellows to serve, and that one just floated in the air and out of bounds. So some serving mishaps for both squads early in the game. Of course, first match of the season for both these teams. They both played an exhibition, but this is the one that really counts. So you're getting those early season jitters out of the way. Nolan gets it over cleanly, might have gone out, but Wake Forest fielded it. Hawkins is having a field day in the middle. The third time they've set her up and the third kill she's gotten already. Kellis Hawkins, the freshman from California, all the way over to Wake Forest, making a big difference in the middle. 6'3" as well, matching the Bearcats' height. Cincinnati needs to get something, a back set over, tapped by Sigmund. Wake Forest with the return opportunity. Spees keeps it up. The set to Glendening. Good dig by Wake Forest. They have a return opportunity. Blocked to the net by Simonovic. Set her up. Wake Forest gets it up. The Bearcats just hitting it. And there we go. Carly Glendening opted to go for the softer, well-placed hit rather than the power and just found the hole in the Wake Forest defense. They left that middle open. The Demon Deacons libero, Emma Farrell, returned about 4 or 5 at that point, doing a really good job holding down the middle. That one served into the net. It was the freshman Simonovic. Now it will be the libero, Emma Farrell, serving for Wake Forest. Farrell skies it, kept in by Nolan, and a great hit on the outside. Gretchen Sigmund, the sophomore, gets her first kill of the season. Bearcats have had more opportunities on the attack, but a way less percentage of those turning out into points. Wake Forest defense holding strong. Serving over is Litterber. Set up and blocked at the net. That one that time was Brooke Crummel, redshirt freshman transfer. Also 6'3". So 2 of those new additions for the Bearcats, just adding some height in the middle, some much needed height. Last year was a little bit of a shorter team, less opportunities to block. That one, Glendening got the hands on it, but too strong. Riley Whittekettle got a good hand on it. Some substitutions for Wake Forest. They'll send in Ryan Baker. And she'll serve, her first time serving tonight. Nolan fields it cleanly. Set up by Spees to Glendening. Good block at the net. Wake Forest will send over a free ball for the Bearcats. And no, they couldn't get it over. An easy one for Olivia Fish, and she just sent it into the net. 7-6, Cincinnati leads here in set 1. Carly Glendening, the returning star, to serve. Knocked up by Wake Forest, and Glendening with a good dig to keep it alive. Nolan an opportunity to return. Blocked back on the Bearcats' side. Misdirected set over by Crummel. And it hits the side on Wake Forest. They couldn't field it cleanly. So the Bearcats using all their tricks here early. They're up 8-6. Glendening will get a second serve. Fielded up by Wake Forest. Good set in the middle. Diving is Gillespie to keep it alive. Letterber has to send over a free ball. Wake Forest with an opportunity on the outside. Blocked at the net and off the hands of Ryan Baker. The Bearcats are taking advantage of the Wake Forest front line right now. They subbed out Hawkins, and they haven't had as much success. Glendening, her third straight serve. Wake Forest again struggling to just keep it alive. Good up there by Spiess. Nolan just has to lightly tap it over. The return, and that one's off the sideline, out of bounds, off the hands of Olivia Fish. Her second one she sent away. Ten to 6, Cincinnati. Glendening on a roll. Serves it cleanly again, fielded by Farrell. Fish sends over a free ball. Another misdirected set by Spiess. Andy Spiess in her first game as a Bearcat. Already with 4 assists and 2 kills. She's having a great start to the night. 2 blocks as well for her and a dig. Timeout called by Wake Forest and Coach Jeff Holzmeyer. Not happy with his team in this first set, down 11-6 to the Bearcats. Take the chance to talk a little bit about Wake Forest. We mentioned earlier they've got 4 returning seniors. Last year they only went only had 13 wins, but they did go 8-3 in non-conference play. So they were stronger until they got to that ACC conference. It's a very tough conference. They were picked to finish 15th out of 18th in the ACC preseason poll. We'll see how that fares. Currently down 11-6 in this first set of the season. It's great to be back on the mic here for Bearcats Media. 3rd year doing this now. First time I've done a solo game, I believe, for Bearcats. So this is something new. Haven't done that since high school. It's always a fun time just to be on the mic at all. Of course, we do have a very good matchup. It's very interesting with those 2 new head coaches. This is a very different style of play we've seen from the Bearcats last year. The last 2 years when they had their old coach, fortunately, just couldn't get the job done. And Tomich coming in from Bowling Green, she had a very storied career there. Multiple tournament appearances for her. It's a great hire by Athletic Director John Cunningham. 5 tournament appearances over her career. Her players have gotten 9 All-American honors, 6-time Conference Coach of the Year as well. Hopefully she can add a Big 12 Conference Coach of the Year to her resume after this season. Out of the timeout, Cincinnati still leading 11-6. Glendening's gonna serve, and a well-placed one. A diving Emma Farrell couldn't get there for Wake Forest. Make that 12-6 now. The Bearcats on a 5-0 run. Glendening, again, tapped up by Fish. The set and a well-placed backline hit by Olivia Murphy. Didn't get a ton of power on it. Looked like she might have gotten the side of the ball, but it landed where it needed to, and no Bearcat was there. Twelve to 7, Cincinnati still leading here in set 1. The serve by LaJula gets over for Wake Forest. Nolan gets into one, but it's a good tap up by Farrell. Wake Forest sends a free ball. Spiess once again with the misdirected set. The 3rd time she's done that. Give it her 3rd kill of the night as well. They have to watch out for Andy Spies. Gillespie is serving. They set it up over to Olivia Murphy on that left side, just doing damage again in the Bearcats defense. That time they left the middle open. Simonovic wasn't at her spot. Suna Williams serving for Wake Forest, tapped up by Lederber. Spies sets Glendinning. It was a miss set, had to send over a free ball. Murphy on the other side is blocked, but it's out of bounds off the Bearcats' hands. Olivia Murphy finding some success here on the swing. 13-9, Cincinnati is still leading. Wake Forest making a little comeback. Williams sends it over again. Spies to set to Nolan, blocked at the net. Kept alive by the Demon Deacons. Light tap by Murphy. Diving Lederberg keeps it alive. Glendinning sends a free ball. Another one. This time Hawkins. Gillespie keeps it alive with another dive, and the Bearcats are still in this point. Murphy with a kill. Right in the middle of the Bearcats defense. They were scrambling and diving to keep it alive, but at some point, you just can't get back to your position, and Murphy took advantage of it. Williams sends over her third straight serve. Set to Nolan. Williams dives to keep it alive. Fish gets that one off the arm of Carly Glendinning. Tried to stretch out just to get that up, but couldn't get a full hand on it. Timeout called by Coach Tomic. Wants to talk some things over with her team. They were up 12-6. Now it's 13-11. Wake Forest out of the timeout, played with a lot more fight. 13-11 here in set one. We'll take a short break on Bearcats Media and return in just a few minutes after the timeout. Coming out of the timeout, Wake Forest down 11-13 to the Bearcats. Suna Williams still serving. Wake Forest on a 4-0 run. The Demon Deacons leading in kills so far. They've had a couple more errors in the Bearcats, 3 attacking errors and 2 service errors to the Bearcats 1-1. They can clean up the sloppier play. They would be in the lead right now. We'll see if they can get that going forward, and no, they can't. That's a serve that skied out of bounds. Almost hit the Cincinnati text way in the back of the court. Sophomore Andy Spies serving for the Bearcats, up 14-11 in set one. Spies off the net, and a lucky bounce and down on the ground. Bearcats extend their lead up to 4. Spies has had a good game so far. 4 assists, 3 kills, 2 blocks, 2 digs, and now a good serve. Kept alive this time by Wake Forest, and one sent too far onto the left side out of bounds. Olivia Murphy. Murphy was doing damage on that left side, now on the right. Just didn't get the angle. There seems to be some discussions between the referees and Coach Tomic. Maybe a review. We are getting a video review, not sure exactly what we're seeing. We'll see if they put it up on the board for us or not. Seems like they called on that last hit by Murphy. It tipped the finger of one of the Bearcats players trying to block at the net. So they called it Wake Forest's way. However, Coach Tomic challenged that call. So we'll see if they reverse it and give the Bearcats the point. And they won't. They'll keep it with Wake Forest. Must have been something I couldn't see from up here. I didn't think a Bearcat touched it, but maybe that's why it went so far sideways off of Murphy's hand. Sizable cheer from the Wake Forest crowd that made the trip. Hopefully they're enjoying Clifton. Becca Bellows serves it over cleanly for Wake Forest. Nolan with a lot of power off the arms of Farrell, not enough. Sydney Nolan, whew, got all of that one. Farrell was there, good positioning, props to her, but that's just a tough one to control. When Nolan gets a hold of one, you don't have much. Nolan serving, Farrell gets it over. Hawkins, the good kill attempt. She'll get another one, and that one's sent out of bounds. Second try, no luck for Hawkins. (17-12). Sydney Nolan serving again for the Bearcats. Tapped up by Wake Forest. Back set, blocked on the ground, and down on the Wake Forest side. Crawford was the hitter. I believe that was blocked by Glendening on this right side. 18-12. Nolan skies a serve too far out of bounds. It's about the fifth time that's happened in this first set. Just need to get those serves down. Paige Crawford, the senior from Texas, will have the serve for the Demon Deacons. Tapped up by Nolan. Spies set to Glendening. A light tap, just floated down and found the ground. The second time Glendening's done that, opted to go for positioning on a light hit rather than put her power into it, and it works for her. Side out Cincinnati. Simonovic serving. Her first one went out of bounds. We'll see what she can do with a second opportunity. This one will stay in. Back set to White Kettle. Blocked down at the net, but on the Bearcats side. Brooke Crummel wasn't able to keep it up. The libero, Emma Farrell, serving for Wake Forest. Spies sets to Crummel in the middle. A powerful hit, but well returned by Wake Forest. Farrell was there to keep it up. And Riley Whitekettle just had an easy tap to the net. Whitekettle, 6'5", the tallest player on either roster tonight. All she has to do is just reach up there and tap it down. 19-15, Cincinnati leading. Farrell's serve was returned by the Bearcats. A diving opportunity. Looks like that was Olivia Fish, who tried to keep it alive for the Demon Deacons, but just couldn't get there. 20-15. Cincinnati still leading in the first set. Ava Liederberg, the freshman. Serves that one. Nice serve on the back line. Wake Forest called out. That was beautifully placed by Liederberg. 21-15, she'll get another opportunity. Trying to do it again. This time, Wake Forest opts to field it. Fish sends it over, kept up by Liederberg. Spies set in the middle to Nolan. Good dig by Wake Forest. They keep it alive. Blocked at the net by Crummel. Sends over a free ball. Cincinnati has trouble fielding it. Glendening, another light hit. This time easier for Cincinnati to field, but blocked by Glendinning. Whitekettle couldn't get it over. Carly Glendinning, her second block of the night. And the Bearcats lead 22-15 as another timeout taken by Coach Jeff Holzmeyer. He's used 2 so far for this one. Of course, the Bearcats only called 1, but losing that challenge, they lost their second timeout. So there will be no timeouts going forward in the first set. Cincinnati leading 22-15. A good student section presence here tonight for the Bearcats over in front of the Armory in Fifth Third Arena. Of course, the Bearcat mascot is here as well, leading the crowd chants. Some exciting stuff going around in Cincinnati athletics. Of course, this tournament this weekend, playing Wake Forest tonight and playing Michigan on Sunday. Next week, the Bearcats have their home opener in football, hosting Eddie George and the Bowling Green Falcons. Should be a fun one. I'll be on the call for that one alongside my colleague and friend Chase Yance, he actually is currently on his way back from Kansas City. Called the Nebraska football game last night. For all I know, he may be listening right now. Hopefully, he is driving safely. Wake Forest got out of the timeout early. They're already on the court and ready to go. The Bearcats just now leaving their huddle. Ava Liederberg still serving for Cincinnati. (22-15), Cincinnati leading in set 1. Liederberg served it over cleanly, returned, good dive by Gillespie to keep it alive. Nolan, that one would have been way out of bounds, but Farrell opted to field it. Diving Gillespie again to keep it alive. This time a good set to Glendinning. Tapped up by Wake Forest. They'll set up Fish on the left side. Nolan runs almost into the front row to keep it up. Gillespie sends over a free ball behind her head. Whitekettle blocked. Gillespie takes a dive. Another one for her. Unfortunately, Glendinning was blocked at the net by Whitekettle. The 6'5" Whitekettle just too much at the net. Big momentum shift after that point. Bearcats look defeated, and I don't blame them. Gillespie dove about 3 times to keep that point alive. Ryan Baker to serve for Wake Forest. They're down by 6. Glendinning lightly taps it. Wake Forest has adjusted to that move after it worked the first 2 times. Spies faked the set, send it over instead. Farrell, the set to Fish. Blocked at the net, returned by Wake Forest. They're forced to send over a free ball, miscommunication. What a play by Brooke Crummel. The first hit on the free ball, Crummel just sends it over everyone's head into the back line, and nobody was there. They moved up so close to the net that it just was an easy fall and an easy point for the Bearcats. 2 away from winning this first set. Looks like Glendinning is serving for the Bearcats, sends it over cleanly. Murphy's hit was blocked at the net, fielded by the Bearcats. Gillespie set up to Nolan. Almost in the front row goes Farrell to field it. Spies back set to Glendinning. Fielded again by Wake Forest. They're playing some really solid defense. Cincinnati will have another opportunity. This time it's Crummel blocked at the net. Spies, opposite side, Nolan blocked again on the Bearcat side. Nolan with her 3rd try at it. Kept alive, Murphy this time. Gillespie sends it over on the return. Liederberg is there. Spies sends it over. Didn't wait for the 3rd hit that time. She took the chance when she saw it and found a hole in the Wake Forest defense. A chaotic play leads to set point for the Bearcats. Carly Glendinning will serve, 24-16. The return attempt there is good. Sunna Williams Hit it right into Brooke Crummel's arms as she was blocking at the net and down on the Bearcats side. Serving for Wake Forest, it's still set point. Will be for a while unless Wake Forest goes on a run. Almost into the net. Glendinning had to get down low to field it. Gillespie hits it over. You don't normally see the libero getting a full swing on it. Did give Wake Forest an easy return opportunity. That one was Olivia Fish with a lot of power. And they originally called it in, then they reversed it to out. So that was actually the set for the Bearcats. 25-17, they win set one. That one looked like it was into me. There's a reason I'm not out there refereeing. So the Bearcats take set one, 25-17. Some good play from the freshman, Andy Spees. 7 assists, 4 kills, 2 blocks in that one. Glendinning needs to get that hit percentage up, but did have 4 kills, 2 blocks, and 4 digs. Sydney Nolan had a lot of attacks. Only a .07 hit percentage. She's going to have to work on that in the second set. For Wake Forest, 4 kills for Olivia Murphy. Was doing damage on the left side before moving to the right and just couldn't get the same swing. 6 digs for Paige Crawford, the veteran. Emma Farrell, their libero, played really great defense in that one, just moving all over the court, ranging and diving to get to balls. Just didn't have enough. We will take a short break here on Bearcats Media. We'll return in about 2 minutes for set two. Cincinnati took that first one, 25-17. Coming back here for set two, Cincinnati took that first one, 25-17. Looking at some team stats, Bearcats had 3 aces on the serve. Meanwhile, Wake Forest had a lot more errors, 7 attacking errors to the Bearcats 2, 3 service errors to the Bearcats 2. Hit percentage as well, Cincinnati up by about .12. .13 kills for the Demon Deacons compared to the Bearcats 12. Bearcats are rocking their typical red uniforms tonight. Wake Forest in all black with the gold accents. Pretty solid matchup as far as the jersey department goes. The Bearcats will serve to start. It will be Ava Liederberg. Some holdup here from the referees talking to Coach Holzmeyer of the Demon Deacons. Now they'll toss the ball over to Liederberg, and she'll get the serve. First point of set 2. And it is underway. Liederberg's serve is over cleanly. Tapped up by Farrell. Hawkins in the middle. Started that first set strong the same way. Just doing damage in the middle. They subbed her out. Now back in set 2. Starts off with a kill in the first point for Wake Forest. Back to serve is the senior Paige Crawford for the Demon Deacons. Tapped up by Nolan. Ranging over his Spees, sets up Glendening. Couldn't get a full arm on it. The return by Wake Forest. Riley Whitekettle, the 6'5" graduate player from New Mexico State. Got a full swing into that one, a lot of power. Not much of a chance for the Bearcats to get there. Down 0-2 to Wake Forest. Still serving is Crawford, tapped up by Gillespie. Spees sets Glendening. Glendening not getting a lot of power behind her hits tonight. That one was a missed chance by Olivia Fish. Sent it out of bounds on the kill attempt. Serving is Glendening. Tapped up by Wake Forest. Fish sends over a light one just into the middle of the Bearcats defense. There was nobody there. Gillespie tried to dive for it in time. Just a gaping hole in the middle of the court. The Demon Deacons up 3-1 early in set 2. Emma Farrell, a libero, serves for them. Tapped up by Nolan. Spees ranges over. Sends it too high, too close to the net, and it was an easy one for Whitekettle just to send it straight down to the floor. Spees so far has been solid as that #1 setter. 7 assists. That one wasn't her best. Glendening, good job to keep it up. Liederberg sends it to Nolan. A light tap over. Wake Forest with a solid opportunity. Blocked in the net by Crummel and down on the ground. Brooke Crummel. Her 4th block of the night. She's having a good first game as a Bearcat. Coming over from Liberty. They're taking the red shirt. Cincinnati down 2-4. Spees sets up Nolan. Off the arms of Farrell and almost over at the scorer's table. Out of bounds. That one's a kill for Nolan. A little bit of a slow start, just her 3rd kill on 15 attempts. Gillespie, a short serve. Crawford had to dive to keep it up. They'll say, looks like one of the Bearcats were in the net. Tatiana Simonovic. Side out Wake Forest. They're up 5-3 in set 2. Cincinnati leading 1-0. Ryan Baker, the senior from Illinois. Decently close to home back here in Cincinnati. She'll serve for the Demon Deacons. Liederberg taps it up. Set, Spees to Nolan. Blocked and out of bounds. That was off of Olivia Murphy's hands. Now only down by 1, 5-4. Andy Spees will serve for the Bearcats. Trying to tie things up early in set 2. Spees sends over a good one. Crawford has to adjust to send it over. The hit from Sunna Williams was off of the outstretched arms of Brooke Crummel, and no Bearcat was there to keep it alive. 6-4, Wake Forest. Drew LaJula back to serve for the Demon Deacons. Glendening fielded it. Nolan got a lot of power into it off the outstretched arms of Olivia Murphy and out of bounds. Side out Cincinnati, Nolan gets the kill and will head back to serve. Cincinnati trailing 5-6. Nolan serve, fielded by Farrell, had to get on the ground for it. Crawford hit a nice one right to Andy Spees. Good positioning, just couldn't get underneath it to get it up in the air. Sunna Williams back to serve for Wake Forest. She'll send it over. Nolan taps it up, good adjustment. The back set to Sigmund, just off the back sideline there. And a good hit and a solid angle, a little bit too strong. Williams, her second serve, Wake Forest leading 8-5. Nolan taps it up, Spees, back set to Sigmund. This one fielded cleanly by LaJeweler. Blocked in the net is Crawford, that one's off. Looks like it was Gretchen Sigmund who blocked that one down. It'll be the second block of the night for Sigmund. The sophomore from Holland, Ohio. Was part of this program last year. Seeing her first action of the season. It's gonna be freshman Izzy Buziani. She served. Wasn't enough, as it was a return by Olivia Murphy, a good kill for Wake Forest. Buziani, one of those talented freshmen the program is buzzing about, coming over from the Michigan area. She was subbed in to serve and then subsequently taken out of the match. Good to see her getting that first chance to play as a Bearcat tonight. Wake Forest leading 9-6. Crawford tries to tap it over, blocked by Crummel. Another opportunity for Wake Forest. Whitekettle hits it over softly. Crummel tries to return. Diving opportunity. Farrell sends over a free ball. Gillespie to Spees to Glendening. On the back line and in. Kill for Carly Glendening. Wake Forest still leading 9-7. The Bearcats started picking up their play. Eva Liederber subbed back in and she will serve. Fielded cleanly, returned by Whitekettle. Gillespie tries to run it down. It was off the arms of Liederberg and away almost into the student section. Gillespie was just not going to get there. A good effort to try to run it down. Wake Forest leading 10-7 here in set 2. Cincinnati took that first set by a margin of 8. Paige Crawford serving for Wake Forest, gets it over. Spees backs at the Crummel. Running down is Farrell, and they'll return it. Spees this time, another misdirected set. Good dive by Fish to keep it alive from Wake Forest, but Farrell sent it into the net. Andy Spees is just doing damage down there as a setter. Utilizing that back set a lot. Seems to be really, really good at that move. Also have sent a couple sets straight over, catching the Demon Deacons off guard. Glendening serve. And looks like they hit it 3 times without getting it over. Bounced off of Emma Farrell, hoping that the referees wouldn't notice. They picked up on it. Cincinnati down by 1, 10-9, chance to tie it up. Glendening serve, tapped up by Crawford. And a good hit right past the outstretched arms of Liederberg. That's Patricia Legita. Hasn't seen too much action tonight, but she gets her first kill in her 3rd attempt at that one. Emma Farrell sends it over for Wake Forest. Spees sets Nolan. Oh, winded up for that one, blocked in the net. This time she'll have to return it, which is just a soft touch. Legita again, this time went to the other side of Liederberg. A good move just to play with Liederberg. Thought she would go on the same side she went the last time. Opts to change directions, and it just gets her. 12-9, Wake Forest leading Cincinnati here in set 2. Cincinnati leading 1-0. We'll take a short break here on Bearcast Media during this timeout, and we'll turn in about a minute to continue set 2. Back out of the timeout here as Wake Forest is leading Cincinnati 12-9 in set 2. Bearcats won set 1, 25-17. Trying to get their first win with Coach Tomic as the head coach, but similarly on the other side, Wake Forest trying to get their first win with Jeff Holzmeyer as head coach. Spies sets to Nolan, kept up by Crawford. Legita this time will have a return by Liederberg. Little redemption for her. Nolan gets the kill off the arms of Riley Whitekettle. Ten to 12, the Demon Deacons still leading. Lily Gillespie, the libero for the Bearcats, back there to serve. Gillespie sends it over cleanly. Crawford tapped over by Nolan. Another chance for the Demon Deacons. Liederberg up, Spies to Nolan, just out of bounds off the sideline. Ryan Baker will send it over for Wake Forest, leading 13-10. Liederberg gets it up. Spies set in the middle to Simonovic, blocked at the net. Another chance, this time sends it over to Nolan and down on the Wake Forest side for a Bearcats point. Andy Spies will serve for Cincinnati. Her first career game as a Bearcat, having a solid night. Spies sends that one out of bounds. Maybe a little announcer's jinx there. I'll take full responsibility for that. It's the third service error for the Bearcats on the night. 14-11. Patricia Legita serving for Wake Forest, tapped up by Glendening. Spies to Nolan. Legita dives with one arm to keep it alive, but no one there to run it down on the Demon Deacon side. Side out Cincinnati, Sydney Nolan will serve. They've been trailing almost this entire set, but have hung around. Only down 2 is Cincinnati. Hanging around, looking for an opportunity to go on a run and take the lead. Farrell taps it up. Son of Williams in the middle. Good dig by Spies to keep it alive. Light tap by Glendening. And Fish sends over a free ball. Sigmund to Spies. In the middle, it's Simonovic with a good kill. Tatiana Simonovic with her first kill. First career kill as a college volleyball player. She'll remember that one. Cincinnati trying to tie it up. Farrell keeps it up. Fish taps it over. Gillespie, good dive to keep it up for the Bearcats. Nolan blocked it in net, kept it alive, sends over a free ball. Farrell, back set to Murphy, blocked at the net, but down on the Bearcats' side. Blocking there with Simonovic and Sigmund. Ryan Baker has been doing most of the setting work for Wake Forest in set 2. She's done a very good job. Served too strong by Sunna Williams out of bounds. Gives the Bearcats the ball once again. 15-14 lead for Wake Forest. Izzy Buziani is back in here to serve again. And serves it into the net. Buziani with a mistake. And they'll sub her out. Back comes in Simunovic. (16-14) lead for Wake Forest. Serving was Bellows. Back set to Sigmund. Diving Bellows isn't enough to keep it alive. Gretchen Sigmund hasn't had too many opportunities to hit, but does get her second kill of the night on that one. Ava Liederber back to serve for the Bearcats, trailing by 1 point. Again, they've just hung around in this set 2, waiting for their opportunity to strike. Crawford, her hit was kept alive. Nolan up the middle, tried to put too much power on it, but sent it right into the net. Side out, Wake Forest. Paige Crawford to serve, up 2. Tapped up by Nolan. Spies set to Glendening. Farrell keeps it alive. Bellows set to Legita. Off of Liederber's arms and into the scores table. Wake Forest point up 3 now. Cincinnati still has their timeout. Coach Tomich is waiting to use that one. Crawford sends it over. Gillespie gets on the ground. Good dig to keep it up. Spies just sends it over. Legita right to Nolan. Good tap up. Liederber runs it down. Spies has to send over a free ball. Well positioned. Wake Forest has trouble returning it, but the light tap is there over the arms of Sydney Nolan and is on the ground. Janelle Green's gonna get into the match. Her first time tonight, coming in for Andy Spies. Green, the redshirt freshman setter from Kansas. Daughter of former Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Trent Green. Nolan taps it up. They give it back to her. She's blocked the net. This time it's Glendening. Returned by Wake Forest. White Kettle blocked at the net and off the hands of Farrell. Couldn't control it. Cincinnati point. (16-19), Cincinnati trailing by 3. Carly Glendening to serve. Glendening gets it over. Bellows sets Hawkins in the middle. Every time Hawkins has been in, she's been a force in the middle. Give her 4th kill of the night. And Coach Tomich will use her timeout here. Down 20-16 in set 2. Trying to take a 2-set lead on Wake Forest, but Wake Forest is looking to tie it up 1-1. We'll take a short break here on Bearcast Media and return here in just a few. out of the timeout here. A little out-of-town scoreboard update. The Wake Forest football team is currently playing, leading Kennesaw State 7-6 in the first. Trying to get 2 wins for the Demon Deacons program tonight. Up 20-16 on the Bearcats in set 2. Farrell was the server. Bearcats couldn't return it. Brooke Crummel sent it out of bounds. Actually, they'll say it was tipped at the net by Sunna Williams. Got a finger on it. So to change that will be side out Cincinnati. Lily Gillespie to serve. Gillespie, hard hit serve, kept alive. Sent over by Whitekettle. Off the arms of Glendening. Side out Wake Forest. (21-17). Wake Forest leading in set 2, trying to tie things up at 1-1. Back to serve is Ryan Baker. Baker sends it into the net. Unlucky bounce on the Wake Forest side. 21-18, Cincinnati to serve. Janelle Green will be the one to send it over. Her first time serving tonight. See what she can do. Sends it over cleanly. Farrell taps it up. The set from Baker to Legita is blocked down on the Wake Forest side. Sydney Nolan is there. Credit her for the block. Cincinnati now only down 2. Green again to serve, trying to start a little bit of a rally for the Bearcats. Again, cleanly, a good serve. Farrell barely got a hand on it to keep it alive. Wake Forest sent a free ball. Green, the set to Sigmund, well placed in the middle. Gretchen Sigmund with a kill, brings the Bearcats within 1 and a timeout called by Wake Forest. 21-20, Janelle Green has come in and made a few plays. Some clean serves, a nice set. And the tempo and momentum seems to have shifted to the Bearcats side. Once again, we'll take a short break here on Bearcats Media and return in a minute for the conclusion of set 2. Back out of the timeout. Cincinnati trailing 21-20 in set 2. Janelle Green still serving. Sends this one over cleanly. Farrell has the range back. Baker, the set to Legita, gets it over. Janelle Green dives to keep it alive. Sigmund, well-placed hit, and a good dig by Wake Forest to keep it up. Simonovic blocked at the net. Green sets Nolan beautifully in the middle. Sydney Nolan, give her a 9th kill of the night, and the Bearcats tie things up at 21. Janelle Green has been a spark for the team. All tied at 21, brand new ball game in set 2. Green with a great serve, miscommunication on the return, out of bounds by Wake Forest. Cincinnati has their first lead of set 2. They're on a 5-0 run. And another timeout called by Wake Forest. Coach Holzmeyer is not happy with a serve ace Couple digs as well for her. She's been a great addition out there onto the court. Good substitution by Coach Tomic. Looking at some of the other Bearcats who have shined tonight. Carly Glendening, 5 kills, 3 blocks, 4 digs, and a service ace. Sydney Nolan, 9 kills, close to that double-digit number. 5 digs and a block for her as well. Unsung hero, I think, in my opinion, is going to be Brooke Crummel. 2 kills, 5 blocks at the net, doing a lot of damage. It's really been the blocks that have been the difference in this game. Wake Forest has 1 block. Cincinnati with 8. The hit percentage in Cincinnati's favor as well, leading by about 50 points. Of course, that works about the same way as an average in baseball, 250 to 200. Janelle Green still serving for Cincinnati, now leading. Farrell adjusts, taps it up. Baker sets Legita and finds the hole in the defense on the right side. Glendening ranged over to the middle. Tied up at 22, Patricia Legita to serve for Wake Forest. Tapped up by Glendening. Janelle Green back set to Sigmund. Blocked to the net and lands out of bounds just barely for a Bearcats point. 23-22, Sydney Nolan back to serve for Cincinnati. That returning star power, let's see if she can help will her team to a set 2 win. Good dig by Wake Forest to keep it alive, but blocked to the net. Simunovic. Fourth block of the night for Tatiana Simunovic. Set point for Cincinnati, 24-22. Nolan sends it over. Farrell dives to keep it alive. Legita sends it. Gillespie took a hard fall trying to get to the middle to knock it up for the Bearcats, but just couldn't do it. Still set point. Cincinnati leading 24-23. Sunna Williams serving for Wake Forest. Nolan taps it up. Green backs at the Sigmund. Light tap, trying to get it down in the middle. Kept alive by Wake Forest. Blocked at the net and down for the set. Simunovic again. 2 clutch blocks for Tatiana Simunovic gives the Bearcats the set 2 win, 25-23. They lead 2 sets to none. An epic comeback in that one. Cincinnati hung around the whole time and then took their first lead of the set at 22-21. A lot of resilience shown by the Bearcats team in that second set. We'll take a short break here on Bearcats Media, about 5 minutes in between sets here, and then we will return. And we'll see if the Bearcats can complete a 3-set sweep in the first game in the Coach Tomic era. Returning here to Fifth Third Arena for set 3, Cincinnati leads 2-0. They hung around there and took set 2, 25-23. They won set 1, 25-17, trying to go for a 3-set sweep. This one's going to be set up to Glendening, off the arms of Hawkins and out of bounds. The Bearcats take the first point of set 3. Back to serve for Cincinnati, Tatjana Simunovic. Simunovic, the freshman from Serbia, serves cleanly. Emma Farrell taps it up. Bellows set in the middle to Hawkins, who finds the hole in the Bearcats' defense. Ties things up at 1-1. Janelle Green still out there on the court for the Bearcats, replacing Andy Spees as the setter after she had an incredible end to that second set. Carly Glendening, credit with a kill. Cincinnati leading 2-1. Set 3, back to serve is going to be Ava Liederber. Liederber sends it over and not over, into the net. Service error for the Bearcats. Just their 5th of the night. Didn't see many of those serving troubles in set 2. Still around here, Janelle Green blocking at the net, got a hand on it at least. She'll set up Glendening, give her another kill. Carly Glendening, second of set 3 so far. Cincinnati back up 3-2. Glendening serve, kept alive. Bellows set Legita, and it was a perfect one into the back line. No Bearcat win for it. Thought it was out of bounds. Ties things up at 3. Ryan Baker to serve for Wake Forest. Tapped up by Liederber. Green backs at the Crummel. Fielded by Farrell. Baker set Murphy. Running it down is Liederber. Trying to send it over is Gillespie, and she does. Legita right to Gillespie. Set to Nolan. Lightly tapped in the middle. Kept alive somehow. Murphy sends that one out of bounds. What a point for the Bearcats, 4-3. Great efforts by Lily Gillespie and Emma Farrell, both liberos. Ava Liederber as well, running that down, swinging with one arm to keep it alive. All that for a 1-point lead. Cincinnati up 4-3. Gillespie serves, clipped to the net. Good read by Farrell. Murphy hit that one too strong, out of bounds off the back line. So it looks like they'll reverse that and we'll go for Wake Forest. Must have tapped that back line. 4-4. Drew LaJula. Janelle Green up the middle gets the kill. Her first of the night. Cincinnati back up top, 5-4. Janelle Green back to serve. Good serve. Trouble for LaJula fielding it. Forced to send over a free ball. Gillespie to Green, to Nolan, perfect 1-2-3 kill. Sydney Nolan in the double digits for kills now, give her her 10th. Six to 4 Bearcat lead. Janelle Green still back to serve. A low one, Farrell has to dive to keep it alive. Crawford blocked at the net and down. That was Tatiana Simonovic in the middle. Her 6th block of the night, 11th as a team for the Bearcats. Wake Forest, on the other hand, 1 total block for the whole game to the Bearcats 11. Not much network for the Demon Deacons. Timeout called by Wake Forest. They're trailing 7-4 in set 3, trying to avoid a 3-set sweep as the Bearcats are looking for their first win in the coach Daniela Tomic era. We'll take a short break here on Bearcats Media and return in just a few minutes for the continuation of set 3. Returning out of the timeout, Janelle Green to serve. Sends a nice one into the back line. LaJula dived. Couldn't get there. Eight to 4, Cincinnati extending their lead. Janelle Green still back there. Farrell taps it up. Back set to Murphy, outstretched. Janelle Green and Sigmund dive to keep it up. Nice return, free ball for the Bearcats. Sana Williams hit it right to Green. Tough to control that one when you're halfway on the ground trying to recover from the last one. Wake Forest gets the point and will serve down 8 to 5. Sana Williams to serve. Seen a lot of action tonight for the redshirt junior, formerly at Mississippi State. Glendening returns, kept alive by Williams. Baker set to Crawford, finds the space in the back left corner. 2 in a row for Wake Forest. Now only trailing by 2. Of course, they have a long way to go if they still want to win this, down 2 sets to none. Sana Williams serves over cleanly. Glendening to Green to Nolan. Another kill for Sydney Nolan. Make that 11 on the night. And she will go back and serve for the Bearcats after that kill. Nolan, a great night. 11 kills, 5 digs in the block. But she does pick up a service error as her serve was just too strong off the back line. Sophomore Becca Bellows back to serve for Wake Forest. They're trailing 7 to 9. Gillespie taps it up and couldn't control it. Went over the net. I just hung there for Hawkins and an easy kill to bring Wake Forest within 1. Bellows sends it over again. Green runs it down. Sigmund sends it too strong. Wake Forest with 4 in a row here. Ties things up at 9. Cincinnati trying to go for that 3-set sweep. Need to pick up the play. Green sets to Glendening, off the arms of Hawkins and out of bounds. Point Cincinnati. Tatiana Simonovic back there to serve for the Bearcats, leading 10-9. Sends it over, Farrell taps it up. Baker sets, Crawford blocked at the net by Sigmund, another chance. Crawford again, blocked again by Sigmund and Crummel. Brooke Crummel, her 6th block of the night. They'll credit Sigmund with 1 as well, give her 4th. A 11-9 lead for the Bearcats. Simunovic sends over a nice serve, in trouble returning it. Farrell hit it into the net, diving on the ground to try to keep it up. 3-point lead for Cincinnati. Simunovic, right to Farrell. Bellows sets Hawkins. And just hit the sideline, a late call, side out Wake Forest. Paige Crawford, the senior from Texas, back to serve for Wake Forest. They're trailing by 2. Demon Deacons trying to avoid a sweep as out of bounds, too strong on the serve. Another one of those close calls. Side out Cincinnati. Ava Liederber checking back in, and she will head back to serve as well. (13-10), Cincinnati lead. Liederber, good serve. Chance to return it is Legita, kept alive by Gillespie. A good dig, lightly tapped over by Glendening. Whitekettle blocked to the net by Crummel, but down on the Bearcats side. Green couldn't get there in time. (13-11), Cincinnati still leading. Libero Emma Farrell, the senior from Georgia, sends it over. Crummel with the attack. Good return by Wake Forest, and a Whitekettle again using that 6'5" for Rame to her advantage, getting a nice swing in on the back line. Good windup for her on that one, got a lot of power. 13-12, Farrell to serve once again. Gillespie taps it up. They set Glendening, kept alive by Farrell. Bellows to Legita, blocked to the net by Green. Whitekettle, Green is there. Gillespie to Glendening. Good tap to the net. Wake Forest standing strong. Legita sends that one way out of bounds. Cincinnati point. 14-12 lead. Carly Glendening to serve for Cincinnati. Farrell is there. Bellows, a back set to Whitekettle, right in front of the green. Diving to try to get there. You're just not going to get to that one in time. Whitekettle, again, using her height and getting a nice swing on it. Ryan Baker back to serve for Wake Forest. They're trailing by 1, 14-13 here in set 3. Liederber is there. Green sends it high, goes over on the Wake Forest side, and it's just an easy tap down for Olivia Murphy. Wake Forest ties things up 14-14. Baker for her second serve in a row. Looks like they're cleaning the court on the Bearcats' side, trying to get rid of some water there. Make sure nobody slips. Baker's serve. Glendenning taps it up. Green misdirected set over. Good job by Farrell. She was there and ready for it. And they'll say Murphy's hit was on the sideline. A close call. Wake Forest has their first lead of set 3. 15-14, Demon Deacons now in the lead. Baker to serve again in a misread. Carly Glendenning went right, the ball sailed left. 16-14, Wake Forest lead. Timeout by Daniela Tomic. Not happy with her team seceding the lead there. We'll stay on for this timeout, move to an out-of-town scoreboard. Checking some college football. Wake Forest football team still only up 7-6 on Kennesaw State. Not much offense going on in that one. Army leading 17-10 on Tarleton State. Michigan State up 14-0 and on over the Western Michigan Broncos. Charlotte leading Appalachian State 3-0. Illinois playing Western Illinois. That one's all tied at 0-0 in the first quarter. And then Kansas with an early 7-0 lead over Wagner in the first quarter. A couple Big 12 teams playing right now. Slide over here, check out baseball as the Cincinnati Reds are trailing the Cardinals 2-4 in the top of the 5th inning. Not what Reds fans would like to see. However, they could tune into their Bearcats volleyball team as they're leading 2-0 right now, although they are down 16-14 in set 3. But they have come back from bigger deficits as they did in set 2, came back to win that one. Trying to go for that sweep. Coach Tomic trying to get her first win as the Bearcats head coach. Ryan Baker still back there to serve on a 4-0 run for her serving. And sends it into the net. The 7th service error for the Demon Deacons. Lily Gillespie to serve for Cincinnati, trailing by 1 point. Legita sends it up. Ryan Baker set to Murphy. Is down on the Bearcats side. That was Simonovic trying to block it. Just didn't get a great read. Wake Forest with the side out. Patricia Legita to serve. First time subbing in tonight is going to be Sadie Polk. The freshman from Indiana in for the Demon Deacons. Little miscue there, serving while the Bearcats were still substituting. She'll redo it. Legita to serve. Diving attempt by Liederberg keeps it alive. Nolan sends over a free ball. Polk to Baker to Murphy. Blocked in the net by Simonovic. Kept alive. Nolan, a lot of power. Kept alive somehow by Wake Forest, but on that third hit, they couldn't get it over. That was hit straight to Sadie Polk and got on the ground. A great dig by her to even give that ball a chance. Janelle Green serving for the Bearcats, still trailing by 1 point. Polk's gonna get a chance. Returned by the Bearcats and a miscue at the net. Hawkins had an easy one. Nobody was there for Cincinnati. Wake Forest with the point, leading 18-16. Sunna Williams to serve, fielded by Glendenning. Gillespie sets to Nolan, a lot of power, a kill right in front of Sadie Peck. give Nolan her 12th kill of the night. Side out Cincinnati, trailing by 1. Deep into set 3 here. They're going for the sweep. Nolan, the good serve, trying to be returned by Hawkins. Cincinnati keeps it alive. Nolan dives. Simunovic sends it over. Baker sets Peck. Gillespie runs it down. Green set to Nolan, blocked to the net. Another one. Green, back set to Sigmund. Just barely over. Peck with a great hit. So much power. That's into the 20th row. Off of the arms of Gillespie. That one got a huge bounce. (19-17), Wake Forest leading. Becca Bellows serving for them. A net grazer there, barely gets over. Glendening just sends one way too strong, couldn't get it down. Solid opportunity, but got on top of the ball. Bellows back to serve again. Wake Forest now up by 3. Tapped up by Glendening. The set in the middle to Simunovic, just hits it into the net. Mistimed it. Wake Forest now up by 4, and Coach Tomich is going to take a timeout. Cincinnati trying to go for that 3-set sweep, but it's not looking great right now. Wake Forest leading 21-17. We'll take a short break here on Bearcast Sports Radio. Wake Forest out of the timeout early. They're looking ready to go. Positive vibes on their side of the court. The Bearcats slow to come out. Smiles over there as well. Glendening and Nolan trying to keep their team into it. Wake Forest leading 21-17 here in set 3. Becca Bellows sends it over. Gillespie keeps it up. Good dive. Glendening, a well-placed hit. Farrell ran it down. Cincinnati just trying to return it. Sigmund with a nice hit in the middle. Peck gets a chance at it. Kept up by Glendening. Simunovic taps it over. Peck again. Blocked off the arms of Simunovic and out of bounds. Wake Forest on a 4-0 run to go up 22-17. Bellows serve, tapped up by Glendening. Spiess to Glendening. Great kill. Put Garley Glendening into the double digits, her 10th. 22-18, Cincinnati trailing. Tatiana Simunovic back to serve for the Bearcats. They need to go on a run here. Good serve by Simunovic. Bellows. And that one too strong off the back line, off the arms of Whitekettle. Cincinnati, 2 in a row now, trying to come back, only trailing by 3. Simunovic to serve again. Sends it over. Farrell gets on the ground to return. An easy one. It floated over the net for Brooke Crummel. Crummel with an easy play, her third kill of the night, to go alongside 6 blocks. Great first game as a Bearcat for her. 22-20, Simunovic serving again. Wake Forest trying to stop a run. Cincinnati's on a 3-0 run, and they do just that. White Kettle gets high in the air with a lot of power. (23-20). Paige Crawford will serve for Wake Forest. They're up by 3, trying to avoid a 3-set sweep. Crawford sends it. Back set from Spies to Sigmund, out of bounds. (24-20), set point for Wake Forest. Barely over the net is Crawford's serve. Sent up by Sigmund. Miscommunication is who's going to send it over. Nolan ends up sending it. Kept alive by Spies. Glendening. Returned. Bellows to Legita. Good job by Nolan to keep it alive. Glendening another turn. Blocked the net. Down on the Bearcats side. Wake Forest takes set 3. Not the result that Cincinnati wanted. They were trying to go for that 3-set sweep. Wake Forest takes it 25-20. We'll take a short break here on Bearcast Media. Return in a few minutes for set 4 as Cincinnati is looking to take this one in 4 sets. Back here in Fifth Third Arena for set number 4. Cincinnati won the first 2 and dropped that third set. Wake Forest avoids the sweep. Now Cincinnati trying to close it out and come away with a win. Hawkins, good swing in the middle, kept alive by Liederberg. Sending over a free ball and a miscommunication. Not able to control the free ball is Emma Farrell. Cincinnati with the first point of set 4. Glendening to serve for the Bearcats, gets it over cleanly. Hawkins blocked the net, but down on the Cincinnati side. Side out Wake Forest. Paige Crawford to serve. (1-1) here in set 4. Crawford, the senior, sends it into the net. The 8th service error for Wake Forest. Lily Gillespie, the libero, to serve for Cincinnati, leading 2-1 very early into set 4. Legita taps it up. Bellows set, blocked the net, dive by Liederberg to keep it alive. Spees sent it over. Legita again, blocked the net and down out of bounds. Wake Forest will take the ball. Emma Farrell serving for them. Tapped up by Liederberg. Running it down is Spees. Sending it over is Nolan. Chance to return. Legita off the arms of Nolan. Trying to run it down was Glendening, just couldn't get there in time. 3-2 Wake Forest lead. They've picked up their place since dropping those first 2 sets. Emma Farrell to serve her second in a row. Tapped up by Liederberg. Spees set to Nolan. Perfectly placed. Perfect kill. Sydney Nolan gets her 14th of the night. Gretchen Sigmund's going to check into the match for Liederberg. Serving is Spees, sends it over. Farrell taps it up. Bellows sets to Legita, blocked on the net and down. There was Sigmund and Simunovic. Sigmund her 5th block. Simunovic her 7th. (4-3) lead for the Bearcats. Early in set 4. Spees sends over the serve. Crawford gets it up. Blocked and out of bounds off of Simunovic. Devin was hit by Sonna Williams. (4-4) all tied up in set 4. Baker serves. Set from Spees to Nolan. Finds the ground in front of the outstretched Farrell. Sydney Nolan back to serve for Cincinnati. 5-4 lead for them. Legita hits a hard one. Gillespie got it up in the air, almost hit the scoreboard. Nolan with a light tap and a miscommunication. Legita couldn't get underneath it. That's a Cincinnati point. Sydney Nolan to serve. Crawford hits it up. Baker to Murphy. Good job by Spees to keep it alive. Sigmund sends one over. Good dig by Farrell. Murphy blocked and out of bounds off of Sigmund. Wake Forest gets the side out. Patricia Legita, the junior from Poland, formerly at Chicago State University, to serve for the Demon Deacons. Nolan's there, taps it up. Spies set to Glendening, finds the ground for a kill. Side out Cincinnati. Simunovic heads back there to serve. Simunovic, in her first collegiate game, having a good night. 1 dig, 7 blocks, and a kill. Serves it cleanly. Crawford taps it over. And looks like we had a Bearcat in the net. Side out Wake Forest. That was Brooke Crummell. Sonno Williams served it over. Spies set to Nolan. Good job by the Wake Forest defense to keep it alive. Sent away, strong and out of bounds by Sonno Williams. A lot of power on that one, just couldn't get it down. Ava Liederber to serve, 8-6 lead for the Bearcats. And a good call by the Wake Forest defense, called that one out. Looked like Legita was going to go for it before the call. Side out Wake Forest. They're trailing 8-7 here in set 4, trying to tie things up at 2-2 and go to that tough 5th set. Gillespie dives to keep it alive. Glendening sends over a free ball. Farrell up to Crawford. Good job by Liederber to get it alive. Spies, not the greatest set to Glendening, sends it over. White Kettle right to Gillespie. Liederber, another dive to keep it alive, sent over by Nolan. The back set, White Kettle again. Gillespie is there. Spies, set, Glendening, down on the Wake Forest side. Bearcat point. Carly Glendening, her 13th kill of the night. Having a great first game of the season. 9-7, Cincinnati lead. Glendening served. Crawford, light tap over Nolan. Gillespie was late to cover. Eight to 9, Wake Forest trailing. Paige Crawford will serve for them. Liederber's there. Back set from Spies to Crummell. Good hit, kept alive by Crawford. This time it's Legita, blocked by Crummell. Gillespie dives, keep it alive. Crummell setting to Nolan. Crawford behind the back move, keeps it up. Crummell blocks it. Wake Forest still alive. Legita to Liederber. Back set, blocked down, finds the Wake Forest ground. A chaotic point. Surprised Wake Forest lasted as long as they did in that one. 10-8 lead for Cincinnati. Lily Gillespie serving. Cincinnati trying to take this one 3-1. Hawkins hit it off of Simunovic. Liederberg just couldn't get there in time to cover. Ten to 9 lead for the Bearcats. Wake Forest has been hanging in there. Farrell serves it. Spies set to Nolan. Blocked to the net, still alive. Nolan a second try. Blocked to the net, still alive. Give it a third. Kept alive. Diving White Kettle sends over a free ball. Liederber, Spies, Nolan. Wake Forest will return. Legita, light tap. Diving Nolan keeps it up. Spies to Glendening in the middle. Off of Legita and out of bounds. No one's getting to that one. 11 to 9. Cincinnati with a whole lot of attacks on that point. finally got one to get through the Wake Forest defense, standing strong. Up by 2. 11-9 in set 4. Serving for the Bearcats, Andy Spees. Good serve into the net. Son of Williams did get over though. This time they'll send on the other side, White Kettle. Return by the Bearcats. Spees sets Nolan. Power finds the ground. Farrell dove for it and did get it up, but they'll say it hit the ground before. Sydney Nolan, 17 kills on the night for the talented junior, originally from Florence, Kentucky, just right over the river. Transferred in last season from North Carolina. Farrell kept the serve alive, had to dive for it. Spees sets Simunovic in the middle. Kept alive, Wake Forest returns, it's White Kettle. Spees taps it up. Gillespie puts it high. Nolan blocked and out of bounds. Cincinnati point, extending their lead to 4. (13-9), Cincinnati lead. Spees sends it over, out of bounds. Seven service errors for the Bearcats now. Still leading this one, 13-10 in set 4. Trying to come away with a win, send these Bearcat fans home happy. Spees, back set, Sigmund blocked in the net and down on the ground in front of Glendening. Wake Forest just hanging in there and refusing to go away. Serving for the Demon Deacons is Baker. Nolan taps it up. Gillespie puts it high. Nolan sends over a free ball. LeJeweler set. Baker to Legita. Perfectly placed kill for Patricia Legita. Wake Forest cuts Cincinnati's lead down to 1, and Cincinnati will subsequently take a timeout. We'll be back after a short break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Cincinnati leading 13-12 in set 4, up 2 sets to 1. Back out of the timeout, Cincinnati leading 13-12 over Wake Forest. Ryan Baker back to serve for the Demon Deacons. Glendening taps it up, back set, Spees to Nolan, gets the kill. Sydney Nolan. 19 for Sydney Nolan, approaching that 20 mark. 14-12 lead for the Bearcats. Serving over was Nolan. And hitting the back line, a great one placed by Olivia Murphy. Actually, they'll call that one out of bounds. I thought that one was in again. This is why I'm not a referee down there on the court. Nolan sends it over, 15-12, Bearcat lead. Glendening keeps it alive, good dig by her. Nolan taps it up, miscommunication. There were 3 Dominicans there and nobody went for it. 16-12 lead for the Bearcats. Sydney Nolan still serving on a 3-0 run. LeJeweler taps it up. In the middle of Sunna Williams, kept alive by Spies. Glendening had a great opportunity at it. Blocked in the net, kept alive. Wake Forest returns. Legita, well placed on the sideline. Gillespie just can't get to it. (16-13), Wake Forest staying in this one, not going away yet. Patricia Legita, the junior, back to serve for Wake Forest, sends it over. Gillespie taps it high. Spies backs at Sigmund. Light tap rolled on the net for a little bit. Sigmund gets another chance at it and this time finds ground. Gretchen Sigmund, her 5th kill of the night to go along with 5 blocks. Tatiana Simunovic serving for the Bearcats, leading 17-13, trying to take this set 4 and come away with a win. Blocked down, and on the Bearcats side, that was off the arms of Brooke Crummel. 17-14, side out Wake Forest. Sunna Williams will serve. Williams. Clean serve, Spies to Crummel, trying to place it on the sideline. Wake Forest trying to run it down and hits the pole on the net. Point, Cincinnati. 18-14. Heading back there to serve is Ava Liederber, who checked back into the game. Liederber sends it over. Farrell fields it cleanly. Baker, set, Murphy, blocked to the net, kept alive by the Bearcats. Nolan finds the back line, called inbounds. There was a little hesitation. 19-14 lead for the Cincinnati Bearcats. And it looks like we will get a review. Wake Forest has challenged the call. It was called the Bearcats' way, point for Cincinnati, that it hit inbounds from Sydney Nolan's hand. We'll see if they reverse it and give it to Wake Forest. They'll keep it Cincinnati. At the current moment, Cincinnati leading by 5 points. See what the call is, and they will keep it with Cincinnati. Liederber serves it, fielded cleanly. Baker set to Hawkins, hit it into the net. Hawkins previously had a 100% hit percentage. That one, her first miss. Timeout Wake Forest. They're trailing 20-14 here in set 4. We'll take a short break here on Bearcat Sports Radio and return for the conclusion of set 4. Back out of the timeout, Cincinnati leading 20-14. Ava Liederber serves it. Baker sends it over. Glendening returns, kept alive by Wake Forest. This time it's Murphy, blocked in the net. Liederber is there. Spees up to Crummel, blocked down on the Wake Forest side. Cincinnati now with a 7-point lead, 21-14. They're trying to end this thing quick. Another timeout called by Wake Forest, 2 points in a row. 21-14, Cincinnati leading. We will head back to break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Back out of the timeout. Wake Forest now out of timeouts. Ava Liederber to serve. And it finds ground. Farrell misread it. Took a nosedive at the end. 22-14, an ace for Ava Liederber. Liederber serves. Legita caps it up. Baker sends it over. Liederber to Spees. To Glendening. Finds ground. 23-14. Cincinnati with their largest lead of the night on a 6-0 run. What a run by the Bearcats. Liederber been serving this whole time. 2 points away from taking this one in 4 sets, 3-1. Waiting for the signal to serve here. The refs are talking to Wake Forest coach Jeff Holzmeyer. They'll make a late substitution here. Legita in for LeJeweler. Liederber sends over the serve. Baker to Murphy. Trying to dive for it was Andy Spees, just couldn't control it into the front row of the crowd. Side out, Demon Deacons. (23-15). Wake Forest trying to stay alive. Serves it. Nolan dives, keep it up. Glendening, right to Farrell. Good dig by her. Blocked to the net. Another chance for it. Hitting it down. Andy Spees got way up there. Her 6th kill of the night. Sends this one to match point. 24-15. Cincinnati trying to take this one 3-1. In set 4, back to serve. Carly Glendening sends it over. Controlled. Sent over is Murphy. Glendening taps it high. Liederberg over to Nolan, sends over a free ball. Legita to Baker, Hawkins in the middle, blocked down, kept alive by Farrell. This one's White Kettle, taps it over and finds the space. A good hit by White Kettle, trying not to go for the power, instead for the placement. Still match point. 24-16, Paige Crawford back to serve. Crawford sends it over, Glendening fields it. Spies to Nolan, kept alive. The back set, White Kettle, blocked down and finds the ground on the Wake Forest side. Cincinnati gets their first win in the Coach Tomich era, winning the home opener, tribute the 10 game, baptizing the Demon Deacons. 3-1. What a game, what a match for the Bearcats. Starting the new year 1-0, the best way to start the new season. Sydney Nolan, 21 kills. Glendening with 15. Andy Spies, 6 kills, 8 digs, 3 blocks, 31 assists. Janelle Green provided that spark in the second set. 10 assists for her, 2 digs, 2 service aces as well. That'll do it for me here on Bearcat Sports Radio. This has been Justin Dedrick. Have a great night, Bearcats fans.